We usually think that we listen by just using our ears, but it involves the body as a whole. Sound, as it moves through space and fills that space, touches every single cell in your body. Listening activates the entire nervous system, evoking slight twitches of the muscles as we tune ourselves to what we hear. We become aware that our bodies and the space around us function as a single organism. We usually think that we listen to sounds coming from the world outside us, but everything we hear is happening inside us.
My music is usually much harder, like much harder. The sound is much more intense, it's more about me, but with this work I'm more of a vessel. With all this project, the symbols and the archetypes are very important, and the geometries and what they mean. And it should be very like chaotic, but actually it creates something very balanced and beautiful, I think, to the ear. The audience is immersed in these repetition of chants, activating their chakras very intensely. All the parts are like playing for either 3, 6 or 9 minutes. So I was really working also with the 3, 6, 9 sequence to see what it does to the perception and how it affects us.
Rona Geffen, she is researching how we can create geometrical bodies of sound and what is the meaning in sound experience of different geometrical patterns. So we have been researching to create geometrical bodies of sound. She has been working with frequencies and compositions that correlate to these geometrical bodies of sound, and the audience is immersed inside these. And this is a new way of creating, let's say, a sonic ritual. And on the other hand, it's also fundamental research into, can we actually perceive these shapes? Do they have an effect on us? What kind of effect do they have on us? Can they make us feel better or feel different if we listen to sound in this way as opposed to in any other way? So these are a lot of questions that Rona is bringing into the Institute, and step by step we are researching what can be done and what answers do we find into this material.
With this system you can do whatever I always imagined can be done with sound, or most of what I always imagined can be done with sound. Like, you can actually feel where the sound is. You definitely can feel it on your body.
The Spatial Sound Institute has a large-scale 60-speaker 4D sound system. It creates three-dimensional sound images in the space. You can hear presences of sounds that are in the room, but also out of the room. So the effect that people would usually have when they're in the room is that they hear sounds coming from all kinds of distances, all kinds of directions, but they don't really hear it coming from a defined actor, a speaker. It's kind of hovering in the space and taking its own presence. So it's becoming kind of a sculptural process to work with sound in the room, and there's a huge amount of specific aspects of how we listen spatially that you can control here, so you can make it into a creative process.
I use it to create geometrical shapes and then to place people within geometrical shapes of sound. And the sounds are planetary sounds. Each shape, they correspond with like a lot of things in nature and Fibonacci and golden ratio and how our body is constructed, or in general how nature is constructed. And they are always in like perfect proportions, and they have their archetypes as well. They seem to have some kind of a relation to, or we seem to have some kind of a relation to them. There is some kind of energetic key. The project is about sound healing or self-empowerment and self-healing. It is about geometry, math, and their relation to sound, and specifically sound healing and light and intention. And so it was obvious that I have to have a mathematician on board.
I am Claire Glanois. I am a postdoc and I am doing mathematics, so research. I place the shapes in the space and then computed the coordinates of each point, each line, each surface. And we were also starting to discuss about incorporating some physical concepts, some things related to nature, so maybe particular constants, like the fundamental constant of the universe, or some things really important in physics, or also some laws in physics, like the forces of interaction, and also the difference between the big scale, what happened in the cosmic universe scale, and the little particle scale. So, yeah, we were beginning to talk and to try to have idea about this.
Or should we take just 1 minute? Like the spatial delay in the system, it works that we have to specify for each speaker, if I do processing patch, for instance, the delay, so the compute for each speaker the distance.
In general, in whatever you do, I think it's better to bring like a fuller take on everything and bring a fuller picture. So brought Alessandra on board, who is an amazing visual artist. Alessandra, I know her from Female Pressure. So Female Pressure is a network of electronic artists. So I know her work, and I wanted to work with her for a long time.
It's not easy to work with such a rich system, rich in terms of like possibilities and stuff you can do with it, and it's not just about looking at the projection, but it's feeling it, in one way or another. So rather than having a frontal projection where like people could really be detached from, and they look at it, it's more about being in the projection. I mean, being inside the beam of light. So that's really important. That's why we really try hard to actually get this kind of setup where the beamer is on top and you're actually able to be inside the beam of light. And the other thing is, it's not just about like the really simple symmetrical shape. In a way, it expands in a lot of ways. There is like, I think, a level of experience of people who actually come into the space and hear the sound movings and have to connect that with the geometry. There is a lot of factors involved. I think it is really like also a multisensorial kind of experience here.
A lot of people consider this project as spiritual, but I don't think they mean it in necessarily a good way. But I think like we need to progress to that point where we combine science and ancient traditions and spirituality in the best of ways to evolve.
I will try to do a bit of pictures, I mean at least some extract about the visual we did in the piece and the choice of them and a bit their relation. So the piece starts with a pyramid. So actually the projector is placed in top, so we see the projection of a pyramid, which is just then the basis, it's just a square. And from then to pass to the next shape, so the next shape would be a sphere. And so in a plane, if we cut in the middle, it will be a circle. And to relate them both, we took the ratio, so this is L, of Earth and Moon. So if you imagine that there is the Earth inside, so there, so this is, it means that this is the radius of the Earth, and then you draw the Moon above, and you have actually Moon divided by Earth. So when I say divided, I mean the radius is like 27.3%, so divided by 100 if you prefer. So actually calling this alpha. Then for the next circle, so the next circle would be this one. And the radius of the next circle, so if we take this r, little r, then we are r equal 1 plus alpha times L. So not exactly the L, but this r that we have the radius that we add like here. So this like we called little a, for instance, a, and then we have times a. So that's very important in the whole piece to like really choose when we pass from one shape to the other, to really choose the ratio according to some properties and particular numbers, like and related to other ratio appearing in nature.
The idea was to make this project with women, also because the system itself is very masculine. I mean, it's run by men, it's built in a very masculine way. Since the project is about balance and expansion of consciousness, I really wanted to bring a lot of feminine energy into this.
Today is the day my brother died. I realized it's the same date, like when they told me the date, I was like, oh, okay. But it's just, there is something, it's like that on your birthday you're a bit happier or sadder, or I don't know, everyone takes it differently. But these dates, I mean, the day he fell and the day he died there is something about them, they're very hard dates.
It's more than sound healing. I think it's a form of medicine that needs to be discovered and improved and used. And I'm doing this because I really think it can help people with brain injuries. So for me, I'm doing it for my brother. I mean, I really hope that this works, and then sometime in the future, hopefully not the very far future, we can actually save people like this. Because sound and light, these are two very basic vibrations that we respond to, even if we don't really fully understand it yet.
Is endless, and I'm pouring straight right out of it. My figure is shameless, and it paints my life with a vivid sense. My mind is my path to falling right back into place. My freedom is yours, and yours is mine. We are the same.